From his ability to shoot the ball from anywhere to leadership skills that make everyone else around him better, here's why NBA players fear Damian Lillard. First of all, the thing that stands out about Dame is his insane ability to shoot. Beyond the arc, inside the paint, heck, near the logo, you name it. Lillard is a madman. Whenever you talk about the greatest shooters in the NBA, his name pops up, and for good reason. If you think the Splash Brothers are generational, then have a little chat about Lillard too. The only reason he doesn't get the same kind of respect is because of his pathetic supporting cast in Rip City, which has cost him dearly throughout his career. If he had the same kind of help that other superstars in the league get, then you'd see the true range of this demon. Even when comparing him to Klay Thompson, you realize that Damian brings something different to the table. Klay's the most textbook shooter in NBA history, with the perfect landing and arm motions to get his shot away. Lillard isn't like that at all. He doesn't have the perfect shooting form. In fact, most times you'd think it's an air ball because of the way he lets it fly. That never happens, and for that reason alone, Dame's quality as a shooter can't be explained. He's not supposed to make the shots he makes on a regular basis, and defenders in the NBA are left with their fingers crossed, because at least that's when they're doing something to stop him. As good a shooter as Lillard is, he leaves the opposition sweating buckets even more, because he's been a one-man machine since arriving in Portland, and I truly think that's what makes him so freaking dangerous. I'm not saying that not having any help throughout his career has helped him, but it's contributed to making Lillard the one-man force that he is today. Take the example of Steph Curry. Even he doesn't always take the final shot, and he's got 4 rings along with dozens of clutch moments to pick from. LeBron James doesn't always run the last play, but Lillard's different from both of them in this regard. You'd think knowing what a player does makes it easy to stop him, but like I said, there's no hack to defending Dame, and he's only improved this part of his game, having played without any serious help. So the problem here is, how do you defend him? How do you run the final defensive play and see Lillard out? Because everyone knows he's going to take that shot, but everyone also knows that he's going to make that shot. There's a reason he's one of only 2 players in NBA history to have 2 series-ending buzzer beaters, and the other one is Michael Jordan. You know what they say? Fool me once. Dame's a menace from the range and has only become even more lethal having played on his own. But not everyone can be successful in a similar setup. You need a special skill to become that effective, and that skill is called being clutch. Nothing scares NBA players more than a consistently clutch player. Think MJ, think LeBron James. Anyone can be clutch with 1 shot in his career, but to be a consistently clutch player, you need to have the biggest balls ever. Unfortunately, being surrounded by mediocrity, Lillard and Portland hardly get to play big games, and when they do, they need to fight tooth and nail to win. When you have Lillard on your team, though, it becomes just a little bit easier. He's done things others can only dream of, like making logo threes to cut the deficit in the last minute, or scoring 3 after 3, when the opposition has plenty of other offensive schemes up their sleeves. Among the all-time greatest shooters in the NBA, Dame comes out on top when you compare him to Steph Curry. Not in terms of made threes, but in who can make clutch shots, and it's not even close. Steph's never made a go-ahead shot in the final 45 seconds of a game, be it the final quarter or overtime. Dame's near the top when it comes to such shots, and given how he's played in far fewer big-time games, this is even more impressive. Of course, that's an ability that terrifies the opposition's players and fans, with the Houston Rockets supporters having PTSD from a specific Dame-induced memory. Lillard features twice in the greatest clutch shots ever made in NBA history, and both of those shots sent opposition teams home from playoffs. On both occasions, the Trailblazers were fighting teams superior to their own, with the James Harden-led Rockets dominating the 2014 first-round series, and the OKC Thunder having a fantastic roster ready to make some noise in the 2019 postseason. Talk about rising to the occasion. Rip City hadn't experienced the second round of playoffs since the turn of the century, and they weren't going to get a better chance than Game 6 against the Rockets in 2014. Dame was still a young star, trying to find his feet in the NBA, and if he'd missed this shot, everyone would have taken the Rockets to win Game 7 in Houston. The Blazers legend had a different plan, though. He received the inbounds pass, running across the court to get it, and let one fly in pure Klay fashion. It was the perfect shot, and it hit nothing but the net. On the win-or-go-home scale, this shot ranks as the greatest ever for me, with Michael Jordan's '89 buzzer beater a very close second. Still though, this shot was at least a good one, and it made sense to take a chance, right? How do you explain what Damian did against the OKC Thunder in 2019? I don't have words for this one. Paul George, who tried his level best to get a hand on the shot, claims to this day that the shot was a bad shot. His cries fall on deaf ears. And you know what? I actually agree with PG-13's analysis, because this was not a sensible shot to take. Then again, nothing about Lillard makes any sense whatsoever. Remember how I talked about Dame's ability at making shots that no one expects him to even take? This has to be the biggest example of that, because this is easily up there as one of the greatest playoff moments in history. The only critique I have on this shot is, can you call a shot clutch if the player in question feels zero pressure? Look at Dame's face after making the shot. It's like he made a free throw on the second day of the regular season. Ice in his veins, and the craziest part is how that shot was the 50th point he scored, which became a franchise playoff record. A shot so good that it ended a whole era in Oklahoma City, and they're still rebuilding in 2023. Dame ran the clock down when he clearly had plenty of options to run a play. The Blazers didn't even need a three to win. A bucket would have done, but that's boring, and Dame's anything but boring. You can't even call that shot a prayer, because the split second the ball left his hand, everyone knew it was going in. Nothing but net. No wonder NBA players are terrified of him, because you can also add creativity to his immense collection of clutch moments and shot-making. Anyone looking back at the 19 buzzer beater from Damian might think that he didn't trust his ability to find the right pass, but let me tell you how it couldn't be further away from the truth. Lillard's one of the most creative players in the league, and the only reason his numbers don't reflect his greatness is the poor supporting cast around him. What good is a pass when players around you can't make those shots? Despite having an average roster at his disposal, Dame averages nearly 7 assists per contest, averaging close to 8 dimes per night in the last 5 years. Imagine being one of the greatest shooters in the league and also knowing how to find the right pass. Dame doesn't need to imagine, he is that good. That said, don't think for 1 minute that he's only a great individual player, because to me, his ability to lead a roster is also up there. Most opposition players fear someone who can get the team out of a rut, and Dame's exactly that player. He can lead by example, sinking a big three to get the blood pumping through his players' veins and getting Rip City loud with just one move. But he's also a massive presence in the dressing room, motivating and improving players around him with important advice. He loves to advise young talent and enjoys working with younger stars, getting the most out of them. And that's something the Trailblazers will miss big time when Dame leaves the franchise. So, from leadership skills that make everyone else around him better, to his ability to shoot the ball from anywhere, these were the reasons why NBA players fear Damian Lillard.